Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Candid Culture with Crystal. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Tonight, I'm joined by some beautiful ladies. Um, Let me just start with Philly Chica. Just introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Philly Chica. I know you probably see me all in your comments. Now you can put a face to it. Hi.
China.
Hi, everybody. I am China Lee Sims. I'm an actress director, and I'm so excited to be here today. So good to see everybody again.
Y'all, China's so busy she forgot her name for a second. Hey, Queen Mecca.
Hi, everybody. My name is Queen or Neka, whatever you want to call me. I am in Los Angeles and I'm happy to be here.
Queen, turn up your mic just a little bit. I can hardly hear you.
Is it better now?
Yeah. Oh, better.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
And then
It was
Ida,
low.
I'm bringing Ida in. Okay. And then first home, go ahead.
Hey
We're just
guys,
in,
first time tuber here. I'm here in Phoenix, but of course I live in Chicago. So glad to be back with all of these beautiful ladies.
and Ida, introduce yourself real quick. Ida is driving, y'all, so please pray for her.
Well, I'm hands free, obviously. Number one. Uh, I'm Ida at IMC713 on all the things. I always say, just hit me on Instagram. Don't play on my Twitter. That's for work. I am from Houston, Texas. Yeah, don't play on my Twitter, please. But
Y'all,
good
I
to be
just
with
brought
y'all.
these ladies back. I am so excited to get because this is part two. So last time, a couple weeks ago, we really got it going at the end of the show. People kept coming in and just really asking us questions about this feminine versus masculine energy. And I really wanted to compound it with the alpha woman in a relationship and does she even exist? And the funny thing is, this is actually something that Ida and I spoke about several months ago. So that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to bring her back because she was like, no, they don't exist. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So ladies, but I really want to go, let's go back and I see Ono in the chat and I know I'm going to have some more people coming in. Hey, um, Mod Afro Mama, Coco Brown Experience. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I also know that my a friend of ours is also doing an interview right now. So a lot of my followers are probably over in LBB. So I get it. So, but thank y'all for joining me. So ladies, so let's talk about this. I really want to talk about this feminine versus masculine energy. Is this a real thing? Is this a myth that men are just saying that, oh, she's too masculine, just as a barrier to not approach us? What do we think of that?
Um,
I'm gonna go to Philly Chica first.
so yes, I think it is very much a real thing. It's not made up. There are some very masculine looking women out here. We're not gonna name them names that have channels that But I'm just saying that there is a time and place for everything. Sometimes we have to exude that masculine energy to get that task done because the male counterpart is not there to exude it in that space that we need it to happen. And then there's some times where we exude femininity, which is most of the time. But we do have that time that we turn into the hawk and get stuff done. And yeah, I think it is a real thing.
Uh, First home, do you think this is it's a real thing that we have to turn into the Hulk to get things done? First home first, and then I want to go to China.
Can you repeat the question really quickly, Crystal?
Do you think that we have to turn into the Hulk or that we have to exude more masculinity to get things done?
I don't like to call it masculinity. I coined this term during when I was reviewing the Ready to Love Houston season. It's called the captain hat, right? So if you are a person and you have these responsibilities, if you're holding down your household, your children, your community, in some cases, then it requires you to wear your captain hat. That looks like leadership, responsibility, initiation, and that kind of effort. And so I think that Black women being in a position where they have to have their captain hat on, I think it's pretty unfair to call them masculine when they are moving into a role out of necessity and responsibility.
That's a good one.
Yeah, China. I'm eager to hear what you think about that.
I think it is, like, for me, a cover-up excuse from a lot of men who just need to say that they want more submissive women, whether no matter how long they've been dating. Like, just call it what it is, because we have to be strong for ourselves or our families and things of that nature. And I think, like, everyone possesses them, but I think it's just such of the dating norm without men having to say, I want someone who's going to listen to me. So,
Right.
And I think it's more important to say what specifically you like and don't like than to just call a woman masculine or call another group of women feminine. Just say, I like it when a woman does this, I don't like it when a woman does that. And that, to me, is way more effective. If you're a guy.
If I could jump in real quick to
Go ahead, and then I
piggyback.
want to go to Queen NECA and then Ida, because I see Ida's parking. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So, Philly
To,
Chica and Queen NECA.
just to say, I think it was a statement you said about oh man, I might have forgot. Billy
It's
Blinken.
okay.
But it was regarding, why I call it masculine or the abuse of submissive, to use it to, I think with any term, it could be used to abuse. You get what I'm saying? You can use any term you use love as a way to abuse, So I think that to take that part out of it, I feel like, it's okay to have that part to be masculine or tough or anything that gets that job done, to get the task done. Whatever you need to be all things to all people in order to get that task done.
So, okay, that's interesting. Queen NECA, do you think that it's kind of just it's kind of they've put that word on women, especially Black women? Do you think it's a real thing, or is it this word submissive can be used to abuse? I think that Philly Chica has a point there. What do you think of that, Queen NECA?
I think that it really depends on your upbringing because, I know people whose mother passed away when they were young and their fathers raised them, per se, and they had to do everything. They had to learn how to cook, they had to know how to iron, whether it was the eldest, like everyone kind of had to learn how to do everything. So I think it kind of depends on your upbringing, but I definitely agree with China, like that men are using the term when they're wanting to say they want submissive women. And I feel like to be realistic, I read a study over the weekend or maybe on Friday, and it talked about how people who are born in the 1990s were like 30% of us have children now. Like if you're in your 30s, like 30%, whereas in like 1957, it was like 71% or something crazy like that. So that's like more, that's double, right? So I think that a lot of women obviously are taking time. Well, it's not really necessarily taking time. I do feel like women, we're trained in a way to want to be like ready for a spouse, whereas men are not. Like, think about it. If you think about it, look at how many relationship coaches there are, how many books there are. Not to like throw like Megan Good and her husband's divorce and stuff, but like their platform was women getting married, Christian women, you know what I mean? Like that was their platform, right?
Right.
And so I feel like there's too much energy on women and not too much energy on what men are supposed to do. And I think that's the problem. And I think men also think that because they're men, they're supposed to just get this respect no matter what. Like it's not earned. They just think that it's just, I get it because I'm a man and that's it.
You just said a word. Notes over here.
Lots of words being said.
Ida, what do you think of that? Do you think that men have been trained to just get it done and not, but women have been trained to get married and have a husband, and I'm seeing now a lot of men, they want the offspring, but do they want the wife? Do they want that long-term relationship? So what do you think of that? And do you think that it's the masculine versus feminine energy is a real thing?
So let me say that, I don't, masculine energy for me clearly pertains to a man. My dad's about to get in the car, so just keep going. It would clearly pertain to a man. Feminine energy would clearly pertain to a woman. However, I do agree with First Home Tuber when she said that essentially, like, there really aren't any gender roles associated with both energies. I think that it is weaponized. Like, well, this is masculine energy. If we were truly going to get into the semantics of what's masculine and what's feminine, then it would just be defined from a societal standpoint, and that would be that. It wouldn't be these questions of, like, I know you guys probably saw this video that went viral earlier this week about the girl who took a cigar on her first date.
That's my next question. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so many people were in their feelings about all these different things, and there's a blurring of the lines with what's feminine and masculine, but this is such a different time, obviously, because if we were talking about like traditional, back in our grandparents' generation, it would be more so like, no, you can stay there, it's fine. You can see my dad in the backseat. It's fine, we can't see. They talking about, hey, Dad. Don't talk to them. So if it was like more, if we were going to subscribe to these traditional gender roles and emotional roles, then it wouldn't be a matter of like, radio love wouldn't exist, because men would be ashamed to be on TV 30, 40, 45, 49, unmarried, without kids, or divorced with kids, or with fake jobs. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that there's any particular role you can assign to a gender or an emotion. It is largely everybody's out here getting it done. Like, nobody's coming to save you. That counts for the man, that counts for the woman. So like at my job, they have adoption assistants. And so like, just as anybody can get it. So like, if I wanted a kid, I can get adoption assistance at work and adopt a kid. If obviously I'd have to have a home, and they would be like, you go out too much, but that's not what we're talking about. But they'd be like, at home? I'm like, well, define what you mean by at home. So, I'm kidding. But what I'm saying is that, like, I don't think that anything current day in 2022 is just clearly divided by genders, or this is a man's problem, this is a woman's problem. It's really not, because you have to figure out your situation where you are, regardless if you're single, if you're a man or a woman. If I have to assert myself to get something done, that's not me being masculine, that's me asserting myself to get something done.
Exactly.
So now if I don't want to deal with something, if I'm like, I don't want to go to the car dealership because I just don't feel like sitting up there. He can't take my car. Like, I've had a boyfriend take my car to get service and got finessed. I'm like, I wouldn't have. You want some windshield wash from the dealership? Boy, please, I wouldn't have bought. Like, so it's not about your gender. Doesn't necessarily subscribe you to a set of skills.
Right. I actually hear what you're saying, Ida, but I also think that we as women are sometimes, because we're out there getting it done, looked at as this masculine, or we're looked at as Miss Independent, or we're this strong Black woman, or something like that, because we're out there getting it done. And that's not the case, because we want the good job, because we want that salary, or because we want to climb the corporate ladder, or because we want to be that because we want to have that salary, then we are looked at as, she doesn't want for anything. So I hear what you're saying, and I agree. We shouldn't look at it like that, but that's how it's looked at. And you're right.
I agree with that. However, to that I say, I will not work, and I will stick to your $35 a week budget if you're gonna pay all the bills. Somebody got to give first, I mean, but until that time, I have to do what I have to do. And I agree with what you're saying, Crystal. Like, if I'm going somewhere and I meet somebody, or I'm talking to somebody, I'm using that very loosely. And it's like, okay, what you doing for your birthday? I'm going to Tulum with my homegirls. Ooh, must be nice. It is. Like, what do I want to go? What like girls? Do I want to take girls trips for the rest of my life? No. But am I going to pay for myself, or a gentleman, or myself and a gentleman to go somewhere? Also, no. So if that's me being whatever, then that's just what it is. And that's why I have decided henceforth, if you don't have salt and pepper, you can get this. Like, I just, you know what I'm saying? I can't do it. I'm not saying they're perfect, but I'm just saying, like, I don't need anybody looking at me like counting my money, like, oh, well, I'm intimidated by XYZ. I just think that's foolish, because if I had a choice not to work twice as hard to get half as much and all of these things, I wouldn't. Do I want to work hard? No. Do I want to party all the time? Yes. You think I'm doing this by choice?
So can I jump in real
Go
quick?
ahead
I
first.
want
Go
to
ahead.
say I want
Go.
to say first of all, I this is so ironic. I had this conversation with my husband. I'm married. We've known each other for 18 years, married for 4, going on 5. It's by both of our choice. He proposed, we wasn't ready. I proposed, wasn't ready, and then we figured it out. But I want to say this: the conversation, it was regarding to the definition of what a man is. A lot of times young men hear, be a man, be a man. If you fall, be a man. If you cry, be a man. What is being a man? What do they see as being a man? It's always tough. So we put those gender roles on things, because if a little girl falls, we don't say be a man to her. We don't say toughen up. We cuddle. We all boo boo. We kiss, and things like that, because we see gender. And to say nowadays, that's how we were taught. You see what I'm saying? It's up to you to learn and how to adapt to your situation. You know what I mean? Like, I've made a personal decision for my kids. I have 2 girls, 1 boy, to not say be a man or be a girl or put these roles on them, because equal gender can do both roles. But I learned that it's also cultural as well. There is certain cultures that don't have this problem, that the women are equal to their men. In Asian cultures, you see, when you go into your local Chinese store to get that number 4 special with the fried rice, 4 wings of fried rice, cooked hard, salt, pepper, ketchup. Anyway, when you get that special, you see the men in there with the women. They're not sitting there, on their hands while the woman is doing all the work. So, I think you have to look at it from a cultural way and how you were raised, and also see where you can fall short and break those chains if you were raised inside of that traditional way, because it's not always the best way. Tradition is not always the best way. They were not always happy. It's what, as a kid growing up, we saw what they wanted us to see. You know what I'm saying? And we know this now, being adults. So for people who do have children, you know how now as an adult you can hide kids, you can hide things from your kids or from your family. So now we can see the other side of things. Mommy and daddy wasn't always happy. You know what I mean? That wasn't always your uncle. You understand me? You know what I'm saying? Your mom was the single parent. She was a
Right,
single
right.
kid, So it's like, you start to see what's behind that curtain. So I'm just saying, you have to just put it all into your perspective, into your situation, and apply it to you.
I actually, I hear what you're saying, and it is cultural, and I think that that's exactly what Queen Neka was saying earlier. That it
Mhm.
really depends on the culture, how you were raised, and when you are hearing that be a man, and you're hearing, so if I'm a man, then my woman, when I grow up, she needs to act like a woman, or she. But
Exactly.
there is a distortion in as to what that looks like, especially now. Um, Mod Afro said that, and that's why it's important to have an understanding of who you are marrying and
Mhm.
qualifying each other. I do agree with that. And that's actually going to go
Yes.
to my next question. But I do want to go to something Ida just touched on. That was my first question. So, would you get a gift for a man you're interested in dating for a first date? So, I'm going to give you the premise. Okay. So, a young girl was going on a first date, but they had been talking for a while, okay, on the phone, and she found out that he liked cigars. So her father liked cigars as well, and she asked her father to get her a cigar, and she asked her father for a cigar, and her mother had something to wrap it up with, and just with a little ribbon, little twine, right? Something simple, right? First date. Um, and she gave the guy, and her father threw in a cutter, right, for the cigar. Simple. She didn't buy anything, right? So the guy said, "Wow, he's never gotten a gift like this before, and this really sets you apart." this so what would be what do you think of that? Because I'm going to tell you, this girl has been dragged on Twitter for operating in her masculine energy. So she's being too masculine, and for doing that. And to me, I was like, that's a nice gesture. It's a gesture.
Right.
So what do you think? What do you think of that? Go ahead, first home.
I think that it's wrong for people to drag her on Twitter. Twitter will drag you for anything. I do feel like it was a very kind thing to do, but I believe that courtship is a social dance. And so I think everything we do has significance. And the only thing that saved this for me is that she didn't spend any money on it. I still don't like that she offered or brought up a gift. I also saw the videos. And to me, her approach to dating or dating this particular person, it felt what I read from just watching her, listening to her, is that she like he was the prize. I don't know how else, what another way to say it is, or that having a man would be a prize. So for me, that was my issue with it, not being kind and gifting someone something nice. I would never do it on a first date, though. I think it's fine to be nice to men. I think it's fine to give men gifts, especially if you don't have to pay for it. But a first date, that's so strong a way to set up the rest of your potential relationship.
But see, and now to play the advocate here, women will bust it down on the first date. So what was wrong with the cigar? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that a gift too?
You want a first day friend to come out for me? What they gonna do on the first day friend?
They were busted wide open, friend. They busted open. Okay. You know,
That's what I'm trying to do. Go ahead, Ida. Go ahead, Ida.
And I was just like, I wanted her to repeat that because this is Bible right here. She's preaching from the New Testament. Go ahead, friend.
The
It's
2022 version.
NLT version. Okay.
Go ahead, China. Go ahead and then go back. I want Queen Necka to chime in on this as well. Go ahead, China first.
I'm gonna say it really just depends on the level of comfortability, because on one hand, I think it was a nice gesture, but on the first date, I agree with first home YouTuber. It really does give a pick me vibe. Like, you're in a competition. And I think it all depends on like her dating world, what city she lives in. Sometimes, for example, in DC, it's like 10 women and one guy, and they're all trying to stand out. So him saying, oh, she stood out, lets me know he's actively dating other females. And for two, I think I would have paid attention to his response. Oh, that was, you stood out. It was like amongst two. So I think there needs to be an understanding and a comfortability of what y'all are doing, because she sounds like she wants to date just him, one person at a time. And he's like, yeah, she stood out compared to the last 5 girls I went out with and hung out with and did, what grown folks do. So right. To me, I think it's going to come off as a double entendre. The first mistake she did was putting this shit on the internet. Girl, that's your homegirls in the group chat.
Yes.
They had you checked in with your girls. They would have been like,
yes.
Maybe not buy him a cigar. How about we meet at a cigar bar? So that on the date, it doesn't seem like I'm saying pick me. Oh, which cigar would you pick? That's what I would have done. Because there's a lot of men out here
smart.
Who feel so low and so stupid for being so generous. So I really do think it depends on the comfortability. And keep it off social media. Why you want everybody to know you being thirsty?
So you don't think that's so interesting? So you don't think because she didn't buy it, she got it from her father. It was like
but he didn't know that. He didn't know that. To a guy, yes, we know she didn't buy it, but it's going to come off as like, it's super generous, but like just the mindscape of some men, they got tons of options. They're not saying we as women, we don't, but we play the fields a lot more safer, a lot more careful around these landmines of, ooh, this one looks like he is just for it. You know what I'm saying? So
what you just said is interesting, because he said that while this, he's never, wow, no one has ever done that for me before. This really sets you apart. So you just said something that means that it sets you apart from the other 5 girls that he's dating. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut the other 2 and keep and keep you and 2 others.
Yeah, she in the front of the line now because
Right.
she's gonna come off financially secure, or she got enough coins to date me too. How I would a man would date her. I think it was a nice gesture. I just think in this day and age, you want to make sure that there's an understanding of what y'all doing before you put yourself out there, because you can really hurt your confidence and your feelings. I would have just took him to a cigar bar.
Well, didn't you say they talked on the phone for a while? So it
Right.
was like they were already kind of dating in 2022. Let's think about it, because the pandemic, nobody could really meet up face to face and do all that. So talked on the phone signifies to me that they did a little bit more on their phone. So she felt a little bit more comfortable to give him that gift. That it wasn't a first date for her. It's the first time them meeting up.
In
Does
person.
that make sense? In person.
Yeah.
But in the
But
mind
social
frame,
media
they
is
had
not gonna take
already.
that.
I totally agree with you about the social media. But in the mind frame of the moment, she thinking that, it's the first time we get ready to body. You know what I mean? She's already been on the first date on the phone. So I
Yeah.
could see where she's kind of coming from with that. But I would have made it known that I didn't buy it. I would have like, yeah, this is my daddy's. This is my daddy's right here. Like, this is
Right.
my daddy's.
He's
So
my
that way I don't feel played in the end of it all. But
Yeah.
I agree with taking it off of social media.
That is so interesting. So, and from what you're saying, she's had some interactions with him on the phone before. This is just meeting up face to face, but they've had a lot of they've done the phone stuff, the phone
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, they done the
So
phone shebang.
that
Mhm.
kind of tells me, we as women, we're thinking this is more than a date,
Right.
and he's
Mhm.
just like, this is 1 of 5. Queen Neka, I want your opinion on this, and then I'm gonna go to Ida. Or I no, go ahead, Ida. Go ahead, Ida.
Okay, so I personally I'm a person that's like I am going to be Ida regardless of the situation in the audience. So if I feel like one of the things I like to do is I like to do things for people, and that's just who I am. Like period. Like it could be like I had a coworker who told me like we cool, but we're not that cool. Told me she's looking for a journal, and I saw a journal at Marshall's one day. It didn't cost that much, but I bought it and I mailed it to her because we were working remote. I'm just one of those people. So like if he said he likes cigars, and I'm like I'm gonna stop by my daddy's house and get a cigar, and I wrapped it. To me, I don't feel like I gained or lost anything by being who I am. He doesn't that can't listen. If that's too much for him, he shouldn't even be talking to me at all. I would say like 75% of the guys I've ever talked to in my life since I was like 12 have been like, oh, you're just too much. And that's fine. Anybody who thinks I'm too much, they're just not my person. But I don't feel like is like if he came to the date and brought her 2 dozen white roses, nobody would be like, oh, nigga, you doing too much. No, they'd be like, okay, look at that base, girl. You put some thought into that base. Like, so I think it is a double standard, which I don't care about because me personally, if I want to bring you a gift or I saw something I thought about you, like I'm going to do that. Like, for instance, and this is really a peek behind the curtain. Last weekend, my ex-boyfriend was my +1 to a wedding because he had already agreed to come. So get suited and booted. I'm expecting you there. And so afterwards, like we don't talk because that's my decision because I'm sensitive. But Tuesday I did take him a thank you gift for coming and like being a very good sport. I told everybody he was a paid actor, but whatever. Because baby, he was acting like we was dangerously in love and we not. So whatever. But my point is that I had nothing to lose or gain by giving him a thank you gift, but that's who I am. I'm just that person. So like it could have been people reading too deep into it. As far as her posting on social media, like I've watched her follow-up videos and she's been able to monetize that. So win, lose, or draw, she came out with something. And last but not least, I will say about him saying for her that, oh, well, this kind of sets you apart. First of all, everybody knows that if you're dating somebody worth dating and you just met them, it's a possibility that they're dating other people. If you are offended by that notion, if that is shocking to you or you're he didn't have to say that. You too sensitive. Step aside. Like that is just life right now. That's just what it is. And if you're dating somebody who has no other potential options, either they lying or need to find out why they don't have no other potential options. If you're simply dating, so
That
if it's a
part.
man worth having, if it's a man worth, I'm not saying you need to pursue anybody. I don't believe in pursuing anybody. I do believe in courtship. However, I also believe in being who I am. That being said, if like I can't. My screen's too small. I'm driving. White headphones. My new best friend. Like she said, I could hold out for a year. Or I could bust wipe on the first date. A man is gonna decide your next level, whether you are the strongest or the weakest link. He's gonna decide. Everybody can think of somebody from high school that you like. Did you know someone was married? Girl, you lying. Exactly. Because no matter what happens, no matter what transpires, at the end of the day, whether you brought him a cigar or you asked him to get your kid a Happy Meal on the way home from your first date, if he wants to be with you, that's what he's going to pursue. So I just say be yourself, because you stand to lose nothing. If you're just yourself, you can be like, well, you know what? Any relationship I walk away from with clean hands, because I'm like, I did my best and I was my best me. I'm going back to therapy after this, but I was my best me in that moment. So I don't have anything against what you did. I mean, I have anything against that.
Back to therapy.
Sorry, I'm muting myself. Queen
my
Naked, you have the
therapist,
floor.
when I get in a relationship, my therapist be like, Ida, you doing all right? I'm out here living. I got a nigga. And then when I call her, she be like, I can see you tomorrow. I'll be like, let me tell you what happened.
I don't need to see you tomorrow.
Maybe I ghost my therapist when I'm in a relationship. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, Queen Naked, you got the floor. I really want your opinion on this. Hold on. Queen Naked.
Okay, sorry. I seen the tweet, but I didn't really understand what was going on. So I didn't dig too deep in it. I didn't know that people were ranting and raving about it. I will say that African in me and African men, they probably would not accept the gift because that's weird. I don't know. It's very odd. They'll probably think witchcraft or it would just be a lot of preconceived notions about the gift. So I guess it would not be something that I would ever think of doing. So I don't really know, but I mean, I thought it was thoughtful. I don't know how much cigars are. I guess people are, maybe it was expensive or something. I don't know how much they are, so I didn't really know what was the problem.
Right. Well, and to me, and I guess I'm a little bit like Ida, I actually thought it was a nice gesture. And if I thought about it, okay, I remember that, that's something, especially if I like the guy. But to China's point, I didn't think about that either. Take him to a cigar bar or something like that, and you guys can have the experience together.
Right.
So, but yeah. So go back. I want to go back to what China said a little bit, because you said that that's kind of a pick me attitude because it's on the first date. And why would she do it on the first date?
That was for me?
Yes. I'm sorry, China.
Oh, sorry. I guess, she's really trying to let him know that she likes him. Now, granted, I'm all about gifting people when you feel led to do so, intentional, what have you. I believe what you put out is what you get back. But when it comes to dating, and on a first date, there's still a gray area, because granted, how well do you know someone in a couple weeks or a couple months? Everyone's different, but there's still a gray area. Ooh, was that awkward? Should I have waited? When you still have those guessing game questions in your head, you still have a lot of questions to figure out if this person is right for you. So it's enough pressure on both a guy and a woman putting yourself back out there, dating in current pandemic situations. Most people are doing online dating. Physical interaction is really hard, to guess and figure out what you're doing. And to add back to what Neka said, with different cultures, African men or West Indian men, it depends on the type of man you're getting to know, because they're more traditional. They want to be the givers. They want to be the ones to try to lead you and just be protected. So I think in that case, it's not a bad idea. It's just protect your heart when doing so. And you can do that in multiple different ways without putting it on social media. But if it all was for hit clicks and likes and monetizing, girl, do you? Okay,
Well, no, to
then
understand,
okay.
right?
But I
And
feel like you
go ahead.
just be, protect your heart and your feelings and your self confidence when you gifting someone gifts. Because for men and women, it can go both ways. Because a lot of times, the number one thing men are so nervous about is someone coming after money that they may or may not have. So I just think, I probably would have taken him to a cigar bar, or I would have, gifted him when I felt comfortable. And the fact that she felt comfortable so soon is more power to her than it would be for me. But I still would want to get a feel for like, hey, I love what Ida said of it's hers. I'm not, I'm a giving person, but just sometimes of being made a fool of in the past, I don't like to do it purposely. So that's just
right. And you're right. In the past, I have like double thought, and it's like, is this too soon? Like, and you're already going through a lot of mental gymnastics, wanting to date this person you're interested in. Is he thinking the same thing? But to your point, and Chindy Alex said, you are gifting him to date you. And that kind of hit me. That's really,
we get excited that we got,
Wait, can you repeat that again?
she said, you're gifting him to date you.
Or you're gifting him because you're so excited that he's actually taking you on a date. You see what I'm saying?
I would agree with that. I feel like that's reading way into it. It's okay to just genuinely be like, you know what? I know he likes marshmallow or Rice Krispie treats, and they have some really good ones at the such bakery. I'm gonna pick one up. I think it's too far into it to be like, I'm gifting him to date me. If that was the case, he would have asked he would have told you he's sending you a check and you can cash it and send him 200 and you keep 200.
Right. Can I ask a question? Are they now? I'm not familiar with the series or whoever this person is. Are they from different cities and met up with each other? And this was a gift she gave him, or were they?
They were in the same city, from what I understand. They were talking for some time, and this was the first date. This was like
first date.
Gathering.
Okay, but how long have they been talking? See, I think we're
I don't know.
hung up.
It seems like it was at least a while for her to,
Right. I think we get hung up on that part. See what I'm saying? We get hung up on the physical, the meeting, and that part. And sometimes I think it gets overanalyzed. If this person has been talking for a long time, see, this is why people be getting catfished. You see, because they form relationships on the phone. That to her was not the first time of them being with each other in that way. So that gift was not. It was just like, hey, I seen something nice. He liked something nice. I'm pretty sure she bought some lingerie. She bought some perfume. She bought things to actually be the gift for him. This was just something actually he can take with him. It's over analyzing it. If the mood is right, if the guy is worth it, he's been putting in that time with you on that phone. He's just excited as she is. You see what I'm saying? What if he showed up with flowers too? He actually paid money for those gas station $7.99 flowers. She got it from her dad. So he's actually out of the money. And if he paid for the date, as a gentleman should, if he paid for the dinner, she's actually coming up. She got a meal, she got flowers, all for the hand-me-down cigar. So don't overanalyze it, because if you get into that overanalyzing it, you can kind of miss, a moment. It just was a moment.
I do just want to chip in, and I do want to just say that prior to this cigar gate, I guess, there was like a trend of men like posting things they bought for women, like posting like the receipt of the dinner and stuff like that. And I felt like the reaction was like hate. Like it was like very much it was very much so. So I guess for me, that's kind of how I'm thinking. I'm thinking like when men do it, everyone's like, you bum, like why are you posting what you bought, blah 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 blah. It's because of $36 or Applebee's or blah blah blah, whatever.
The 2 for 20.
Right. We need to go. We all should go there one day.
Yes, ma'am.
But so I guess I see both sides, but I guess for me, like maybe just how I was raised and just like the real like gender norms, I guess, like buying a gift for a man is like, you're only supposed to like for your husband. I literally know the first gift I bought my boyfriend and we were together for 9 years. and it was just like
Mm.
year 8. So like it's very like, I think, well, to me, if you bought a man something, like I think it means a lot more. I don't like flowers, so I'm not like a big person on like the flowers and things like that. But I mean, if I got them, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, but is it necessarily what I really desire? No, but I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna throw them in the trash anyway. Like as soon as you leave, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna water them. They're probably gonna die in a day because I don't care. But I don't know. I guess it's just unique. I think this is 21st century dating, and I think
Mhm.
It's very
like
new.
get out of it. But also, she probably should have just not posted it because it was definitely like China said, like very pick me ish, and it was just like kind of weird because I think like the people who were on her side were mostly men, like that were like supporting like what
Right.
she did.
No, there were women saying that this was masculine. She's operating in her masculine energy. So, which leads me to my next question. I'm going to go to first home first. Do you think feminine energy is receptive? Meaning we have to receive and cannot go after what we want if we're interested. That we need to work in a space of being able to receive something and not and have to wait for what we want. Do you think that feminine energy is receptive? First home first.
I think the thought of femininity is in alignment with receivership, right? Being the one to receive. Again, I think that it is a luxury for women who, out of necessity, again, have to perform with their captain hat on, right? It is also a matter of protection, right? Because if I am a receiver, I also have to regulate who gets to give and when and what they are giving me. Because and for a lot of us, we are our own protectors. So I think by definition, yes, but you have to take a look at, again, the reality and like what we're living in right now. But I think it's a beautiful thing when a woman is so protected and safe and secure in a space where she can relax and receive. And I really want that for all of us,
Mhm.
And I
whether
really
it's in
think,
the context of a relationship or not.
right. And I really think, and this kind of goes back to what we said last time, it goes back to what you just said, goes back to trust. Do we trust that we can um, be able to receive and be patient and wait for those things to happen?
Yeah, because
Okay,
that was our big talk last time. It was the trust and the submission going together.
right. And a lot of men think that it's not the trust, it's their self-worth is wrapped up in finances. And we were saying no, it's wrapped
Mhm.
up
And
in trust.
respect.
Mhm.
Respect, I'm sorry. So I actually want to go to I'm going to go to China, and then I'm going to go to Philly. I'm going to go backwards. So I do want to go China. Do you think that feminine energy is receptive, and we are made to be the receiver and we have to wait for what we want?
I think science has told us that, but I feel like the success rates, the entrepreneurial rates, the education rates, just the amount of women who are like proactive in so many areas of their life have proven that we don't have to wait. But I think science is, will tell us, oh, you're naturally supposed to receive, as far as our reproductive organs. So I think science has told us that, but I think just looking at successful women in diverse areas that we've seen women go after the men that they want to marry. We've seen them go after the careers that they want. We've seen them go after the body images that they want. So we're not waiting. We've seen women have kids without men. We're not waiting
Mhm.
at all. So I think science tells us that, but in actuality, the getting is going for us if we choose to do so. So
Okay, Philly Chica.
Mhm.
I have the same question, but at the same time, I remember something you said. You said you were with your now husband for
Mhm.
years. He proposed. You weren't ready, and then you proposed.
Mhm.
So how did that go? How was that received?
So, oh, this gonna be funny. So, okay, the reason why it was 4 proposals. Okay, the first 2 we were not, I felt like we wasn't ready. He felt like we wasn't ready. I felt like they were situational proposals because I had gotten pregnant with our son, and families were like, okay, that's what you're supposed to do. Even though we were best friends before that, we like, wait a minute, we're just figuring out this other part of our friendship, our marriage or whatever. So let's not rush into that. We were being pressured to do so. So, standing that we're both free thinkers, we both, what the same goals, and that's very important. We had to get on the same page. And there were some times where he wasn't on my page and I wasn't on his page. But the reason why this last one actually stuck is because we were there. We both had the same idea. It was no pressures behind it. It was just a matter of paperwork, to be quite honest. And everybody kept asking, how does it feel to be a married woman? How does it feel? I'm like, just like I did the day before. That ring just didn't mean too much to me because we built that foundation first. It would have been a different situation if I had done it the first 3 times. Now, me proposing to him, that was my idea because I felt like it's always the pressure. I think I see things totally different from a normal female because I had the luxury of being raised by very strong women in my family. And out of the very strong women, me and my cousin are the only 2 married women in our family. So I had to see my aunts, my moms, my cousins be the mother and the father. And one of my aunts will tell you she actually had a baby with one of them because she didn't even want him. She just wanted the baby. So she ran him off so she can keep the baby. So I see things of what not to do because I didn't want that for my kids, because there's a double-edged sword to that. It really is when you have to play both roles. When you have to play both roles, you don't understand who you are. So for me, the reason why I proposed is because he did it 3 times. He spent very good money on these 3 different rings. I chuck one, pawned some. I don't even know what other one is. And I'm like, you know what? Let me do this. Let me do it. Let me change it up for a minute and see how. And he was shocked. Oh God, he was shocked. But he had the most cheerful glare on his face. And at the end of the day, he told me, thank you for making me feel wanted. Because it's always about the woman. It's always about the woman. It's always about her. The wedding is about the woman. Everything is about the woman. It's just like, what about the man? So he felt wanted. And it was good. It was good. It was received good. We still married.
So I want to first, 1 second. But something you just said, was that when you proposed, it seemed like it let him know that you were now ready, because
Exactly.
you guys, first you weren't ready. Both of you weren't ready. You had had your child. Just because you have a child doesn't mean you get married. And you went back and forth, back and forth. Now it was almost like a measure to him that said that you were okay. Now she's
That
ready.
I'm ready. Exactly. That I'm ready. I felt like to him, I mean, you have to ask him, and he's a quiet dude, but I think that was to show him, hey, I'm 10 toes down. Now I can give you that, good, bad, up and down of me. Now we're ready. You know what I'm saying? And and he received it very well. Family received it very. First they thought I was nuts. Them strong women in my family was like, "Girl, you crazy? What is wrong with you?" Like all of that. But again, this is me, my life. You're not living this for me. I have to be with this man for the rest of my life. So therefore, making those decisions for me, it worked out for me.
First time, what were you gonna say?
I'm riveted to hear this story for the first time.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Right.
And there's some people in the chat who's like, what? She proposed? But I mean, it sounds like you guys were together for a long time.
Very long time. We were friends first. He's
We have a
actually
beautiful story.
Yes, he's my stepbrother's best friend. And we played that whole game of, okay, stepbrother, how about you hook me up with your friends and I hook you up with my friends? And I ain't like none of his friends. And all his friends said, well, they used to call him Ice Cream. Lord, he gonna kill me for this one. But his nickname was Ice Cream. And I was like, what grown man named Ice Cream? This is stupid. So we ended up being like friends. We started off like wrestling. We wrestled together. We bet on fights together. We have Uno game night. We are kids at heart. Like we were best friends, but unfortunately, he was in a situation at sometimes. I had a situation at a time. We just were never available at each other. And then it took one rainy night, one long rainy night and a cup of wine to say, "Hey, friend, you looking kind of cute, friend." And he like, "Hey, friend, you looking kind," and hey, but it was comfortable. It was comfortable. We were both ready for it. We were both like, okay, now because we actually helped each other out of each other's other relationships.
Right.
So it just is like it was there. The signs were there. It was timing was there. But again, we were young. So now we know it. We know this power is here. Now how do we capture it? You know what I'm saying? What do we do with it? Just because I'm here and I'm all here for you doesn't mean you won't keep me here locked up in the house while you run out and do you. We're not doing those traditional things. So we had to iron out the fine print. Once we iron out that fine print, yeah, we good. We good.
And it's so interesting. I think it was China that I don't remember who touched on women proposing, like this turn of events that's been happening. But it's interesting. Your story is very different because it sounds like you guys were friends for years.
Yes.
And you guys were together for years. I'm not proposing to a man. I'm sorry.
And he had proposed.
He had
He had
proposed
done the
first.
he's done the work.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I
that
didn't show up on the first date with a ring like, "Hey, daddy, let's go." It wasn't like that. Okay. It didn't go like
and 9 years is different than 2 years. I'm sorry.
yes. It's a difference.
Yeah,
So
that's a
yeah, I felt like I kind of owed him after I threw the other three rings. Like, all right, let me just.
yeah.
I mean,
So
yes,
that's
times
actually
before,
very
I don't really see that you putting yourself out there since you know he wants to marry you. He proposed to you 3 times, so that's definitely different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely different. Okay, Onu said, I know a lot of women are going to bash that I'm not proposing to no man, but at the other side of the coin, how many women are with a man that they can actually say they that respect and want to be with?
Exactly. Exactly. If we think that way about our cookie that we give away, you see what I'm saying? That's a gift that, oh, I will never, I won't. If you keep that same energy for your cookie, you will be with somebody that is your friend. I'm trying to tell you, I'm not a prude. I had some bad, bad, bad men out here. I had, but
Mhm.
in all of that, the person that was always by my side, I would run to and tell, ended up being my husband because he saw me in all my glory. He saw me in my worst, and it took us to realize that. But that's my story. That's
Right.
not for everybody. You got to take that time. I feel like nowadays there's no time. It's either soon as we date and we together. First date, we together, we changing Instagram, we married. No, it don't work like that. Y'all got to understand what dating is. You got to figure out if you want to be with this person.
So it's so interesting. And China said something about this earlier. Do you think we as women are still a little extra sensitive? Like going back to the story about the cigar, and I'm gonna go to Queen NECA. Going back to the story about the cigar, and you both of you said, she was doing a lot of dating before she even met him. And she has this intention, it's kind of a pick me. So do you think that Queen NECA and then Ida, do you think that we as women are still extra sensitive in the first dating at first dating when we're first dating, not just first date? Eh, we're already seeing down the aisle. Do you think that's the what we're doing now, Queen NECA?
Um, I've seen like many
Yes.
different. I've seen many like different ways of people getting to the end of being married. And like, so I don't want to necessarily, like, for example, like a lot of my family are arranged, like, and like, for example, like the man would be here in the US and they didn't even know who they were going to pick up at the airport. So like,
Wow.
so I've seen like many different things, and a lot of like my cousins, like my parents are arranged, but it wasn't like that super deep, but it was like kind of like that deep in a sense. But so I've seen like many different. I feel like we need in this world we just have to do what works for us, and then also I think a lot of people like don't have common understandings with their mates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because like for me, like in my guy, like I don't really share a lot with like my friends about like our relationship because we usually figure it out before I need to talk about it. And I think that sometimes that's where the issue lies, is that like your mate upsets you, and then instead of y'all trying to like duke it out and like fix whatever that issue is, you run to your friends, and then your friends said like, your friends are different. And so,
Yeah.
you know, what I can take, maybe China can't take. What China can take, maybe I can't take. So that's like a thing. And that's why you always have to kind of be, I don't want to say weary of other people's advice,
Opinions.
but you kind of have to be a little bit wary of it, just because like you don't know like what that person has gone through to come up with that idea.
Consider the source.
Yes, there we go. And sometimes you don't even know, like, you don't even know, but like, you don't even know all the underlining things that are going on in that
Mhm.
situation. So I feel like I think everyone just needs to date like their spec. And I think that in this generation, I think it just seems like a lot harder because like a lot of women to me seem ready, and there's not enough men that are ready.
There
And
you
that's kind of what I see. So it doesn't even really matter if you do all the work and blah blah blah, X, Y, and Z, whatever, whatever. Because like even when I was in college, right? Just China, I think you brought up like the demographic of like who's in college and finish school and whatnot. When I was in college, like the group that I was in, it was about 12 of us, and it was 4 dudes, 8 girls, right? So like, what if we wanted to date? Like, there's no way to date anybody because there's not an option. We're outnumbered. There's not enough men for that. So I think that's where another issue lies, because I do feel like a lot of women do the work, and there's not enough men that have done the work.
That's
So
what I was saying, Queen Nuka, about being on the same page. That's what we were. That's what I was referring to. See, I was ready. He wasn't. He was ready. I wasn't. And we had to have that communication. We had to talk about why I don't feel ready enough to give my life to you. I have to tell you got to tell me why you're acting in a way that you don't seem too ready about the decision that you asked for. So it's like communication. It's very much important. I mean, and that's what dating is. It ain't just a popcorn microwave type situation where, okay, speed dating, at the end of the speed date we married. This is not 90 day, fiance. This don't work like that. You're just like you would go around for doctors. You would make sure this doctor is accredited. You would make sure this doctor is, above board before he touch anything on you. For a car, you will go and get Carfax. You will go make sure that this car hasn't been in Hurricane Katrina or anything else. But for your man, you ready to just hurry up and marry the first cute guy at the table that got a nice bank account? It doesn't make sense. Vet this man, because this is your life, something you're not getting back. Yeah, you can divorce them, all that, but that's time you're never going to get back to find out that you didn't like them, versus stuff that you could have done beforehand and figured out what you did like.
First home, I'm going to go to you and then Ida next. First home, do you think that we're taking the time to vet our men and really qualifying them that they are the ones that we want to go with, or open up the cookie too soon? Are we still doing that? Because I think that really goes to that extra sensitive question. Because if we're still being extra sensitive and we're already seeing down the aisle and we don't even know how if this man likes his mother,
There
we
you
don't
go.
even know how
His
he treats
last
his
name.
mother, or how, and we've talked about this. How is he nice to customer service? Is he nice to wait staff? Like, we don't know just the basics, but we see this guy and we're already walking down the aisle. Are we still being that extra sensitive? Go ahead, first home and then Ida.
Yeah, I don't think we're taking enough time to vet our men. I actually think in many cases we're not vetting the men. I think we are going into it with this concept of what we have been taught and as girls promised that we will for sure definitely one day have, right? And I think we're finding men and we're trying to squeeze them, push them into that and make it work. And so I don't think that as women, we're like looking at the individual and vetting the individual in that way. I think we're out here really trying to make things work with what we have, or what has approached us, or what is texting or DMing us. And so, so I think in many cases, I see that happening a lot.
Ida, I'm going to ask you as well. You're out there, and do you think that we're taking the time to vet our men, or are we just, oh, he's cute, and yeah, and we're just jumping on the next one, sorry.
The right one, the next one, whoever's here. Okay, no, really.
Right.
So I think that it's important to, I just dropped my purse and it was open. I think it's really important to, number one, understand and accept that, to say, are we vetting men properly? Are we making sure that this, and this? It's really important to have a moment of self-reflection and say, are we this, and this? Nobody is, if you're not learning or growing every day, what are you really doing? That's number one. So like, even when you meet the man who you think is the man of your dreams, you vetted him, you have gotten all the clearances and everything on your checklist has been checked off. Great. But what about his checklist? Like, what if there are areas he needs you to be agile in or grow in? Are you willing to extend someone the grace that you expect?
That's communication. That's part of it.
Communication. However, so you can vet somebody as far as you want to vet them, but it's certain instances in life or situations that you won't know how somebody will react until you know. And so nobody's sitting up like, girl, listen, I haven't seen how you treat the janitors, and until I know that, he's not the one yet. Like, you just don't know certain things till you know it. And like, let's just say you go out and you're like, the tab was $200 and he tipped $20, and you're like, damn, that was tacky as fuck. Maybe he just didn't know. So again, communication, I'm not sure who said that, but communication, and like having that conversation. Is that a deal breaker for me? No. I just know if we go out, like, I'm gonna bring some cash and I'm gonna tip, and I'm gonna let him know I'm tipping, because like, I'll tell somebody in an instant. Like, if we go somewhere, typically somewhere I've been or somewhere I'm gonna go back. Houston is big, but not really. I gotta come back here, so you're not gonna embarrass me. I'll tell them that. And so like, I'm not going to shrink on certain issues, but certain things you don't know till you know. And like I said, I always try to proceed with extending grace, the grace that I would want, because I am willing to do some things, change some things. I'm not gonna be like, if somebody's like, can you not laugh that loud, which was an actual request, the answer was absolutely not. I'm gonna laugh louder. But like, some things I'm not changing. But if you're like, hey, can you not wear them Daisy Dukes with the crop top? You're gonna have the legs or the titties out. Pick one. I might be willing to compromise on one. I might be willing to do those things. But like, if you're just like, I don't like when you wear red lipstick, that's too bad. So, but
all those are a part of vetting to me. For me, that's what I contribute in vetting. And I feel like certain men can't last 30 days. If he a crackhead, you gonna figure that out in 30 minutes.
Oh, absolutely.
See what I'm saying? So some big things you can avoid. We talk about the big things. You can't change nobody. I just want women to get rid of that list, okay? Because that's what's stopping you, number one. Because that list isn't an ideal thing that you got from Disney. It's an ideal thing. Ideal is the word.
Some people's lists are fictitious. However, some, like, if you have gone through a few relationships, like I've gone through several relationships, my list has changed over the years. So like, my list is not like, it ain't nothing physical on the list. It's like, I have some wishes and some wants and some needs, right? But like, on my wishes list, I just want a full beard. God, if it's the beard not full, we can probably work through that with advances in technology. I'm willing to bend on that. But like you said,
to just the beard, like you had like 10 things, and now
I was like, you got to be taller than me. I really like a basketball build, not a football build. My list was extensive, and it was so superficial. But as I went through life, and I just got to know people, and also let people get to know me, because while I do feel like I like me and I think I'm attractive, like, it's been like, I met a guy, well, not met him, re-met him, like, for the third time. And like, the third time I met him, he's like, you know what? I like you. And I'm like, first of all, I've met you 3 times. So like, maybe he got to know me through meeting me these 3 separate times. And every time is a new conversation. And then he's like, can I have your number? Can I take you out? Okay, whatever. Maybe he made some conditional, maybe he gave me some conditional grants in his mind. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, please,
That's
but
part of vetting.
you
If he
right,
gives you
you know,
terms
if
you don't like,
anybody
you can
if
leave.
anybody's going through life, like I want a wife that's shaped like anything, it's not me. Like I don't care what shape you're thinking of, unless it's a very nice Cracker Jack box. It's not me. So, and I'm fine with that. But please do not get with me and then be like, have you ever thought about doing this or doing it? You could do some squats. Your mama could do some squats. Like I've had that happen. Like get with a guy and then they want to start making these changes. I'm like, if you said something like, "Hey, I think you're," like I've had people say, "Hey, I think you should go to law school." I can take that encouragement. Like I'm like, damn, I never thought about it. Let me think about that. Like I can take that kind of encouragement. But if you just like, I never thought about getting breast implants, I'm like, nah, I haven't.
How long did it take for them to say that before they started commenting little things like that?
For stuff like that, it was like months.
See, that's what I'm talking about, vetting. That's what I mean by
Right.
vetting.
This kind of goes to the next question, and somebody who has been asking this
As
question.
a sidebar, the last person who tried to give me coaching on the body that God gave me, obviously I'm not with him anymore. I'm single.
Cool. Okay, girl.
Right.
However, if you are willing to make a donation to the building fund of the body, then let's talk. Don't just be talking unless you want to make a donation to the building fund.
She said the
donation
building
to the
fund.
Lift Fund, then maybe I
Full
will.
investment, not a donation.
The FUPA lives matter. Yes, the FUPA lives matter. Yes.
But do you understand? If you want to see me with a fake belly button, buy it. The fuck?
Coco Brown has been asking this question. Once the vetting is done, how long do you wait to be married? But and Onu, actually, my gentleman in the chat says 18 to 24 months. That's his vetting. 2 years. So
I think it's
I
personal.
like the 4 seasons rule. A lot of people do the 4 seasons rule. I think that as a minimum, and then if you want to double it, I think that's good.
Yeah. Apply it to what works for you. I didn't time frame it. I didn't mark on my calendar. Okay, on this day I decide he the one. So now on this day he gonna be nah. Because when you start
they
planning
say
that,
when
it's
you
not
know, you
organic.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, right. I can feel like that at the second day. You mad at me for bringing the cigar. We get married on the second day. So, the cigar was saying, surprise, we're engaged. So
I'm feeling that I live here. I get it.
Yeah, so like.
How long do you think because to me, and listen, like you said, I've had some bad dating experiences. I'm thinking that the vetting is over. I'm thinking that he's the one. And then after 10 months, I find out that, oh no, he was definitely not the one. Like, so how long, once the vetting is done, how long do you wait to be married? China.
I'm going to say it's definitely personal because with combining two people, finances really play a huge factor in it. That brokerage account, how you trying to retire, what is that debt income ratio looking like? What is that credit score looking like? So I feel like once we're comfortable and established in those areas, and it's not so scary to share those things with someone else, or not even scary, but it's like I feel comfortable telling you my financial stability. I feel comfortable telling you how I manage my money. I feel comfortable telling you how I am able to keep a healthy credit score. Those things matter. So for me personally, once I'm comfortable with sharing those things and I've vetted you and you check off a lot of the things that I absolutely have to have, or those deal breakers haven't been shown to me. I think if we feeling each other, then let's go ahead and plan out how we want to do it. So I like the 4 seasons rule, but after those things, as far as like the things you can't hide,
there you go.
Government wise, tax wise, then I'm very comfortable to
criminal
say,
history.
This man can protect, can provide. I also have he's okay, comfortable with my situation as well. And I think I'm ready.
I actually think that's interesting. I actually think that's a good point because after, like you said, 4 seasons, but at the same time, I may still not feel comfortable talking to him about finances and money or asking him about his finances and money. That's a huge deal breaker. That's
a lot of me being vulnerable with you. I'm telling you about mistakes I've had, how I fixed them, what was the consequences of them. That we don't want to talk about how we weren't taught to manage money well and credit well, and how we didn't have a plan to pay student loans 5 years later. So I feel like, along with telling you my sexual, health, and allowing you into my house, and you comfortable, and I've showed you my financial things. What else is there for you to not be okay? What else am I hiding from you? I'm ready.
I also think objectives and milestones are good too. If you feel like you're going to work as a couple, maybe complete a project together, see how that goes, or I mean, we love a mental health professional, so a certain number of counseling sessions, let's say, 1 a quarter. And once you hit 4, you know what I mean? So those things can help as well if you don't want to think about it in terms of time.
I definitely agree with that too, especially like don't move in real fast and all that stuff, but definitely see what he look like when he sleep. Cause they clean up and they spruce up, they freeze it all down when we great come over. But then after that, they get tired of all that, girl. When they all that. If you love that man through all of that, you could spend 30 years more with that.
Right.
Is
he okay with how I look? How I when I sleep?
Okay, right. If he okay with me,
they not know how to clean those things, and by the time I'm showing you my finances, I should have seen all of that.
Right.
Family, both sides. Your mom is in, how they do holidays. Boundaries amongst your siblings. I see all of that. So by that time, I should be able to, like, okay, he's not crazy. He loves his mama. Him and his dad good. He's a man of God. He's a gentleman still too. Like those, I've seen all of that before I'm showing you my FICO score. I'm just saying.
Right.
And one activity that was recommended by a counselor was a joint babysitting activity.
That baby gonna see. See, some people may not want kids. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so Coco Brown just asked, what if you don't have kids? How many years to invest out of your reproductive years?
6 months.
I would say no. Yeah.
6 months to a year, and after 3 months, and you still see a lot of red flags, and you're not listening to it because they look like 6 flags, evaluate some more. Give it 6 months, and then if not.
Have a plan B.
I'm with China. I wasted my whole 20s and almost all of my 30s. I'm with China. Get them in and get them out.
Okay, because if it ain't me with my reproductive organs, is it your sperm? What's going on? And I don't have kids, but I date men who have kids. So
do we have a choice at this age?
Y'all ain't missing nothing.
Go ahead, Ida. What's
I said, do we have a choice at this age? She said she date men with kids. Do we have a choice at this age? I'm just like, are they babies or what grade are they in? What they mama do? Like, I don't have a problem. I love the kids. I do. I'm just like, okay, what we dealing with? Are they defiant or do they live here? Like, just tell me what's going on. That's another thing. Like, if somebody has kids, it's kind of like a plus because you can see how they interact with their kids. You can see, like, I've dated guys who had kids who, like, the baby mama will call me like, so-and-so phone going to voicemail, but I thought y'all was getting so-and-so today. I'm like, bring him over here. He cut his phone up. Bring him over here. Listen, if I'm here, you gonna see these kids. Like, but at the same time, I'm like, of course, that's 6 flags. That's what we're gonna start calling these men 6 flags. Girl, girl, he's 6 flags. Like red flags
start looking like 6
Mark
flags.
one flag, red flag, 2 red flags, 6 flags.
But the comment from I don't want to pronounce his name wrong. OAMADI.
Amadi.
The debt. I mean, your credit score is a reflection of your debt. So if it's not good, then we already have things to talk about. So
that's also a reflection. First home tuber can probably talk to us about their credit. But if I'm paying my stuff on time, first of all, I ain't gonna get into it because I'm not in danger of being engaged. But when I get there, whatever.
I'm gonna tell you this, from being from the hood and still living in the hood, and nothing wrong with it. I'm Bugetto, but I'm saying I'm comfortable. I'm not gonna leak my own bank account or anything like that. I think if that's your deal breaker, then that's your deal breaker. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can
agree with that
and get upset about somebody else's deal breaker. But for me, the credit score is not a big thing for me because I understand how his mama could have used it for finger hut when he was 3, and he trying to fight that off. I'm trying to,
by all means, that's not a deal breaker for me. I'm just saying, for
those who it is, you just for those, in the comments it is.
That's true.
It's not a deal breaker. It's a red flag for me as far as
it's a deal breaker if you
now
don't
we need
want
to
to.
talk about
Wait,
how
wait.
we can be
If
healthy
Ike
and
Turner was
motivated.
your cousin, if you relate to Ike Turner anyway, and you were smacking him down, then yeah, that's a little red flag for me because you got smack him in your blood. That means you
Or
got smack.
you, and for the credit thing, a lot of people in our community are victims of, like, maybe they didn't get the best credit advice or whatever growing up. I'm not gonna get into that, but
Yeah.
maybe they got a really high interest car loan, or maybe they just got in too deep. Maybe they got in when the housing market was good, like 10, 15 years ago, got too much house. I'm like, that is something that we can work on. That what we can work on is,
That's
you
important
told me you
going
had 2
into
kids, you really have
marriage.
4.
I would say that's important going into a marriage because
That is
finances are going to
important.
be discussed. But in a relationship,
Yeah.
when you feel comfortable, that's what I wanted to kind of just clear it up. It's not a deal breaker. It's just something that needs to be discussed before we plan a grand wedding. And we still need to figure out how we pay off credit cards and car loans and things.
If anybody's watching, I don't want a wedding.
I've noticed dealing with high value men, that's a question that's always going to be in the first radar. They want to
I have
know,
a
not that
question,
they care about how much you make,
Okay.
but what let us know so we can fix it. So that has come up a lot more, and I'm like, excuse you, you don't need to know this information. I'm just like, ooh. Well,
my last boyfriend definitely asked me about my credit and like what kind of investments I had, and I was like, first of all, like, why? And then he was trying to give me investment advice, but I was like, but I never asked him, like, can I see your portfolio? I was like, I feel you, but like, to me, that's level 10. And like right now, we're on level 2. Like, don't skip levels because, like, again, it goes back to like somebody said, Crystal, you said, do you like your mama? Like, we got other stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
If you asking about my credit and then your name appear on it 30 days later, I'm gonna feel like you scammed me.
Okay.
I'm just saying, when you start asking me my social security number on the first date, yeah, that's a red flag right there. Sir.
Unless you want to add me to your card and give me a card in your account, now we talking.
Me as a dependent on your taxes, and we breaking even on that. But other than that,
But maybe you want to add me as a on your black card so that when you make on-time payments, you pay for your balance every month, my credit score go up. We are just putting it in the universe. Just put it in the universe.
I wouldn't do that.
But I do have a question though. So Ida, you just said something. Do we ever want to ask men about their credit score? Do we ever want to ask men about their money? But we don't feel comfortable because that's something that's kind of being masculine. That's something. No, why would we do that?
It doesn't make me uncomfortable to ask a man about his credit score. However, I think that there are levels. Like, I find that when I'm meeting men, because I go out a little bit, a lot, and like I find that more and more, I would say like 90% of men I meet, before they even ask me my number, they ask me what I do for a living. And sometimes I am facetious. Like, I'll just be like, I don't have a job. Like, to me, that has nothing to do with your introductory conversation, because 10 times out of 10, when I figure out what they do for a living, I make more money than them. So like, I'm just like, you don't even know my last name. Like, you've asked me my Instagram handle before you ask my last name, but you want to know what I do for a living. So I do feel like men are trying to see if you can take care of yourself. So they make it clear, I pay my own bills, but like what I do for a living, like that's not something that I'm going to allow you to interrogate me about. And you've only bought me one drink when I asked for Remy, and they made it with Martell. You know what I'm saying? So that was a BS, and I asked for a VSOP, and now I'm judging y'all. But no, for real, like, I find that more and more is happening lately. Like, when I meet guys, they're like, so what do you do for a living? I'm like, I even had a guy tell me after he talked to me for like an hour, it was a slow night. He was like, yeah, I just thought you were a gold digger. I was like, do people still say that? He was like, I thought you were a gold digger. I was like, but why?
Girl, he had to get out of prison that night.
Right.
I was like,
locked up when Kanye made Gold Digger.
But I do think that us asking a man, I think that there is this idea or this persona that if we ask a man, what do you do for a living? We're judging their self-worth.
Right.
That's a fair exchange. It's a question.
I don't think men get offended by asking what you do for a living. No. It's like, what do you do? These are questions I need to know. I want to make sure you're not a drug dealer so I can figure out how I can move around and if I should be okay, comfortable in the car with you, or you work with kids. Like, these are questions that I just ask to get to know someone. And I don't think, asking like, because someone may be he might be a personal banker. He might be working in finance and do business consulting. So he may be like, oh, she knows a little bit. Let me, as y'all get closer. I'm not saying on the first date you should be asking me my credit score, but on the first date, men who make 6 or 7 figures have asked me about investments. They just want to know because their interest is shares and stocks and Ethereums and stuff like that.
The world
But
change.
I don't think that should be, oh yeah, my credit is 720, because in real life that ain't even good these days. You know, like 8 and up is where you need to be. So I'm saying like those type of things I don't get offended by, because I feel like some of the men I deal with are kind of financial nerds, and that's okay because I have not always been the most financially smart person. I didn't make all the right choices coming out of college, going into college, and in my early 20s. But I think it's not an issue depending on how it's said and how comfortable y'all
I don't even think we gotta ask. Like, I just
that's why I want to put that out there.
pull up your credit card and myself. Like, I don't even gotta ask you. I just myself, because you can tell me.
I don't think it's an introductory conversation. They're like, "Hi, oh, I just saw you up here looking good. Okay, my name's Ida. My name's Craig. Okay, so what do you do for a living?" First of all, like, I don't even
Go ahead, first.
like that.
I also want to say that, you know, since we're having the femininity conversation, part of that, and I'm not a femininity coach or anything like that, but part of that is, you know, receivership can be information. It's listening, it's hearing. Allow a man to talk. He'll give you a lot of information, and, you know, we're very smart and discerning and wise. And so most of what he says, you can use that information to kind of figure out where he is, you know, financially, etc. Also, some men don't do anything for a living, especially for my women out there. I'm not sure what you're trying to attract, but if you're trying to attract someone with extreme wealth, there are people who live off the interest. There are people who live off of trust. There are people who are, you know, just passive investors who don't do anything for a living. So I just want to throw that out there as a potential approach. You don't have to necessarily grill a man and ask a bunch of questions to get the information that you need.
And that's why you need the 4 seasons, because you're going to find out all that information within those 4 seasons.
Okay, David has a question, but before David's question, I have a question, and then I'm going to go to David's question. Do you believe men fall for you through their efforts to please you? And yeah, do you believe that if he's constantly pleasing you and then you're receiving that's the same thing as this receivership? And his upfront efforts demonstrate his willingness to provide. So do you believe that his upfront efforts are those willingness to provide? I'm going to go to Queen NECA, y'all,
because everybody was like,
yeah, Queen NECA. I'm gonna repeat the question, Queen NECA. Do you believe men fall for you through their efforts to please you, and his upfront efforts demonstrate his willingness to provide?
Well, I think obviously the purpose of a man is to provide. That's like obviously like step 1 qualification. So I think that if they were raised like that, that's going to be their go-to no matter which woman they're speaking with. At least if the woman that they find interested. So I think that's just that would just be like a natural characteristic of all the guys that I've dated. That would have just been a natural characteristic. Like, you know, it goes from, I want to get married, I want to have children, you know, X, Y, and Z, their plans of what they see the future is like, do they want to live, things of that nature. So I feel like that's just like I think that's normal. I don't really see it as like, I feel like that's what a man is. Like, that's what his role is, you know. He is there to provide and guide and be the leader of the household. So I think that's just a normal thing. But obviously, I think that men do more when you, I guess, like high five them, congratulate them, appreciate what they do. I think that encourages them obviously to like do more. Like, if you really love, I really love Cold Stone, so this is actually personal. So like, my boyfriend really doesn't believe in sweets and stuff. Like, he just doesn't believe, like, he doesn't really believe in like eating like sweets and stuff. He just thinks it's just like a girly thing, I guess you would say. And so like one of the things that I love is that he always would give me like Cold Stone's ice cream. But like since I like loved it so much and he's seen how much I like enjoyed receiving it, it was something that he always does, right? And that's obviously because I was so happy, I was grateful, and that was like something I, was hopeful for. But in his mind, he doesn't think sweets are for men. So like he was doing something out of his comfort zone by going to Cold Stones to get me that ice cream, right? So I think that obviously like when you praise goes a long way, right? And I think sometimes people underestimate that, whether it's for a man or a woman. I think praise goes a long way. And obviously, like, I think men definitely feed off of that. And I think that's also why they're always like so stuck on that whole submissive thing, because, like, quote unquote, the women that are submissive, they're really like, they're thankful. Like, you turn off the light switch, like, they're thankful for anything, right? So I think that's where that whole submission comes in. But I think that like your whole first sentence, I think that is what a man like leads with, like what he can provide. That's like what he leads with, or at least what he should, I think.
That's why I love having Queen Neck on here. She always brings a different different perspective, and I appreciate that because you just said so. His mindset is to provide. Like his main focus is to provide. So your boyfriend, fiance, because you're getting married, so you just like calling him your boyfriend. But his main thing is he doesn't like sweets, but he does that extra effort to please you. So that makes him happy that you're happy. So, China, do you think so? Do you kind of co-sign on what Queen Neka just said that men believe men fall for you in their efforts to please you, and that they want to demonstrate that willingness to provide?
Yes, I definitely agree with NECA because I mean, that's what I saw my father do. That's what I saw a lot of the men in my family do. So I do agree with that. And then again, like I think I also agree with Eka when she says the men that she's dated or her current fiance, that's a given. That's not really something that's like, oh my gosh. But being able to vocally, give them those accolades and just cheer them on because we know what a lot of our black men go through, or just the pressures they have to have all of this flatness or modeling. I agree with her, and I do believe that men, do it through ways of making us happy. I do agree
Mhm.
with that.
That's interesting, and what you just said is going to go. So, I'm going to go to first home, and then I'm going to go to my next to David's question. Do you think that we are the men really want to provide for us and they really want to show their love through their efforts to provide?
I totally agree. And I think their level of effort is a direct demonstration of how much they value that particular woman. So when a guy says, oh, I don't do this, I don't do that. I met a guy one time and he was like, oh, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day because that's BS and it's a commercial holiday, blah, 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 blah. That man is communicating what he's not willing to do for you. For the woman that he values, he is willing to do almost anything.
Oh
Can
my
I say
God. Can somebody
something?
put that on a shirt? Put it on a
Can,
shirt. Put it on a
can,
shirt.
can I say something? I think it also goes to love language. Like now that we understand that there's different ways to show love other than financially, that, it depends on the man. See, that word all men is all inclusive. And I think some men show love differently because we got to think about the men that are house husbands. You see what I'm saying? So maybe they're showing love is cleaning up and acts of service. Remember too, we talked about the different signs of love languages of how people convey love. I think he was a divorce therapist. He actually came up with this science behind it that this is why a lot of things in his field, why divorce is so high, because of people loving differently, showing love differently in these ways. And some of them are acts of kindness, some of them are constant constant gratitude, constant reaffirmation, great words and things like that. So I think it's 5 of them. We covered it on the G panel. 5 acts of love. So it depends on what that man, how he shows love. He might show love financially. That might be his way of being, to say he loves somebody. It might be little acts of kindness. It's just when you see it, when you recognize it, just recognize it. Say, yo, I recognize that you flushed the toilet. You put the toilet seat there. My booty ain't touched the water. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like that little thank you goes a long way.
And I actually think that that goes under the provider umbrella that First Home was talking about. Ida, so you next, and then we'll go to David's question. Do you think that men really want to provide for us as women, and when they don't, that shows their level of interest for you?
I would like to just 100% copyright infringe what First Home Tuber said. I've everybody, well, I don't know everybody. I've been on both sides. I've been on the side of, oh girl, he never did that for me. And I've also been on the side of, okay, but you was doing XYZ when you was with so-and-so. I've been on both sides. And I do think that how far, and that's the same thing for women though. Like think about yourself. You're not willing to go out of your way for somebody you don't like. If it's a guy that you just like, oh girl, if he call me, if I ain't busy, girl, we can go do something. But versus somebody who called you 10 days after you got that number, you're like, listen, girl, I know we said was going out today, but bitch, he just called me. He was like, girl, listen, he gonna take me. It's a difference of how you're willing to stretch and be agile for someone you're interested in. And this is just off top. I'm not even talking about like later on providing and stuff. And that goes both ways. So I think that's a given that how much somebody's willing to do for you or bend for you or stretch for you or be agile is completely adjacent to their interest in you. Like, because nobody's out here, like, if anything, like you may, like, of course, everybody knows somebody who is like, this is baby mama. Okay, whatever. But that's it. Like, it's not like that person is like, we're together. And you're like, oh shit, no. Like, if somebody wants to be with you, this girl told me one time, I was a long, long time ago, and I'm going to say it in a PC way. She said, Ida, anything blank want to do for you, he would have did it yesterday. I will never forget that. It's so true. Anything a guy wants to do for you, provide, and it's a blanket statement, but it's just basically attesting to the fact that if a man wants to do anything for you, it's going to get done. It's not going to be any excuses. It's not going to be any of that. It's just going to get done.
Right.
And that's just it. But until you actually experience that, you really don't know it exists. But once you experience it, then you have like a new attitude. You're like, excuse me?
You feel like
then that kind of makes dating more difficult after you experience it.
And you feel like you matter. Like he's really paying attention that he's done this for you. So
you already
David
know you matter. But for me, I'm like, I already know who I am. And I know what emotionally, like what I bring, like I'm willing to do anything for the person that I love, like anything. But when somebody sees that in you, you're like, oh, okay, he sees me. And for me, a big hurdle in dating is that for some reason I meet people or people meet me. We meet each other. And I don't know why, but they have some idea in their mind of who I'm supposed to be. And then a month, a year, 3 years later, they're like, well, they have this, like they be up in here like what I ordered versus what I got. And I'm like, but who told you to, like, who set your expectation for what you ordered? Because what you got was what you got on the first day you met me, so that's kind of like their level of disappointment, which is their loss, because I take so much pride in being who I am, like from day 1 to day 100. And that may not be perfect. It may not be amazing to this person, but like I've had people really be like, oh, I just, I thought such and such. I don't know why you thought that. Nobody told you that. Nobody said that. But that their idea of me, what they wanted to do for me or provide for me, or the relationship they wanted to be in with me, hinged on their expectation of me that I had no part in.
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, bye.
They had an assumption of you and your character, and it didn't match up. Let me go to David. Go ahead.
They just, if you want to hear something funny, one guy was like, I just, thought that maybe like, you just seem so quiet. I was like, okay, bye. Where you been? Like the fact that you thought I was quiet, like you don't even belong here. Get away.
That means he doesn't know you at all. So let me go to David's question. What is the definition of a man who? What is the definition of a man or woman that is ready for marriage? What qualifies a woman that is ready? What does she have to do or have to be considered ready to be married? This is interesting.
I want to say real quick, that's a question for David.
I
That's
kind
what I was getting ready to say. I was getting ready to say
And
that.
I'm going on mute. I'm going on mute.
okay. Go ahead and go on mute. So I'm going to take the first part.
David.
I'm going to take the first part because I'm going to go first home and then China and then so what's the definition of a man or woman that is ready for marriage? What do you think? First home, in your opinion, is the definition of a man or woman that is ready for marriage, and what qualifies that woman?
Someone who knows and understands what marriage is and the kind of marriage that they like to have in such a specific way that they're able to identify another person that has the same concept or vision for that marriage. To me, that is someone who, is ready. And I think that, that understanding and also being willing to do the work necessary in order to have that, those to me are the qualifiers.
China, go ahead. What do you think?
I think it's someone who is, they've dated enough, they know what they want. And as far as like, what this person, who they are and the characteristics that they love about them. So I feel like they know what they want in their partner. I feel like, they're ready to settle down. They really, how men always like to throw finances in there. Like, I got my money straight. I only say that because a lot of times we will see a man wait. Not all men, but some men wait until they feel like they have to have it together before they want to settle down. So I would say that area they're very comfortable in. Families are very supportive. You have a community behind you, mentoring y'all and understanding that marriage is just not like the fancy wedding. Like marriage is after that. Marriage is when you ain't had a good day at work or someone gets sick. So I think someone fully understanding like this is your ride or die until one of y'all die, understanding like how we want our marriage and like to go back off of what First Home said, like understanding what marriage looks like for you and how you want it to look like for you. Like I think Insecure said it the best, like your love only needs to matter between you and the person you're in love with. So if my marriage isn't traditional, of how we got together isn't what you have respected before because of your cultural and religious reasons, as long as we are both okay with it, then I believe that person is ready for marriage in all areas of who we are because we change. And also someone who's okay with change because we're going to evolve. I'm going to be different in a year. I'm going to be different in 5 years. He's going to be different in 5 years. So someone who can understand that, I believe they're ready for marriage.
Philly.
Mhm. I'm just gonna say that that's a great question that you asked, and that's a personal question. I
Right.
mean, it's like saying when are you ready for kids? Sometimes you don't have that choice of asking that question. You just pop up and a baby up in there. But sometimes, you can sit down and think about it and plan it out. And when you're ready for it, when you're ready to open that door for it, by you even asking this question, if it's for you, it seems like you're pondering it. So you're already on the road to thinking about getting engaged or married or even opening that chapter of your life. Sometimes it comes with wisdom. Sometimes it comes with experience. Sometimes it comes with both age and wisdom and experience. So it's a personal thing. If you're looking at that person and you cannot see yourself without that person, you start thinking about what life would be like without this person, and it hurts you. Maybe that's a hint or a little clue that it might be time to have that serious conversation. But it's nothing that, for me, it's nothing that all of these wonderful ladies can really help you with, because that's a time frame that's on your time.
You know what, Queen Neka, you are about to go down that aisle. What's the definition? How did you know that you were ready?
I think that I'm gonna, I guess, switch it up, and I'm gonna be like a little bit biblical with it, and I'm gonna like speak on Corinthians, and this is something that when me and my husband to be, we when we pray, we always say this first, just because it's important, and I think that we need to remember that love is patient and kind, and it does not envy or boost. It is not arrogant or rude. It is not self-seeking, and love is not easily angered. And emphasis on the anger part, because I think that we definitely live in a society where obviously, like, I love my air fryer, so I always use this as analogy all the time. But like, you can really make a meal in 8 minutes, and, and you can eat it and be full and be happy, and it's just so great, right? And I think that since we're in this society where things are like a lot very easy for us, when things kind of don't go our way, we're very quick to like get upset or snap or, you know, kind of act out of character and then come back down and then be like, wow, I just acted really crazy for no reason. Um, and I think that when you're with somebody, I think in Corinthians, like, I think it kind of talks about what the things that are important, and being patient and kind is very, very, very important. And when you're patient and you're kind, you're going to think about your spouse and you're going to think about that person and just think about how you would want them to feel. And I think that's what would make, for me, I like, because I'm emphasis on the anger because I have a little temper problem sometimes. Um, and I think that's important. I think that, you know, those qualities in a person makes you make I would think would make the person ready. Just being emphasis on patient and kind and not being angered easily. That those three things I feel like are really like big pillars, and to make sure that that person you're with, like, you just know that they're going to treat you right just because they have that in mind.
Right.
But
Love that.
I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. It wouldn't be me if I didn't say it. But you know, Charles Manson was patient and kind too. So I'm just saying, you got to understand, you got to apply personal discernment to these situations, because you know I love that Bible scripture. I totally do. And there's also one, and there's also a lot of things in the Bible. Submission is in the Bible. That your marriage bed be undefiled. But what is your marriage bed? What is it being undefiled? See, it's personal discernment. You know, it's a great outline and it's so personal. That's why I felt like that question was just personal. But I just wanted to point out that Charles Manson was patient and kind too, and he was crazy as all get up.
Right.
But you know,
I'm gonna answer first, and then I'm gonna go to Ida. So I truly believe that if you, no matter how angry you get, you know that you don't want to quit this person, and you care about them more than more than you care about yourself, then you're ready. Then and you know you ready to see them through anything, like um sickness and health. You know that, hey, this in 5 years you don't know that they're gonna, contract cancer or whatever, but you are really ready to go through the fire with that person. Then and being from California, there were a lot of instances where there were just guys that, oh well, the next person, they, oh well, they'll date this person for a little while, but they're thinking that, but the next person, they're afraid that they're gonna miss something. And if you know that this person is it, and that you're not looking for the next thing coming down going down the street, that's your person, then you're ready. And you don't and I know that word, that your person, is really used a lot, but you care about them more than you care about yourself. I
that's
think that's
true.
important. So Ida,
Wait.
now I
Yes,
forgot the question. Hold on, let me go back.
please.
So what do you think? When do you know when you're ready to be married?
I've never been married, so this is just projector. I would say the the biggest thing for me is to make sure that there is some type of reciprocation of feelings. Like, I always say, I didn't come this far just to come this far. I'm not going to be like, well, girl, he's a steady Eddie. I'm about to be 39. If I was going to marry a steady Eddie, child, it would have been done by now. So I think for me, the first thing is reciprocation, and then it's like a commonality on things that matter to me. So maybe, like, to me, I'm really a quality of life person. Some people are like, let's set up a legacy for 15 generations, and that's great. That's on my list. But quality. So if you're a person that's like, I work until I pass out, like I'm working until like my eyes start twitching and they cut the lights off in here. That's not like we don't share common values. So values are very important for me, because me personally, I don't need a lot of material things to be happy. Listen, I want to go to Marshall's and buy makeup. I want to shop online. And I like to eat out a lot, but I don't eat a lot when I eat out. So I'm saying, like, I don't even get a burrito bowl, I just get like one taco. So like, it's certain things that like the values have to be there for me. They have to match. And again, I can be agile, I can, come to Bible study or whatever people do on the weekends. But I mean, like people going to church and stuff, and I'm not mad at that. God knows his child. I be like, God made me, like he know me. He knew when he created me.
I tried. I tried to stay serious, but she said whatever they do on the weekend.
Right, like when I came into this world November 17, 1983, God was like this.
When's your birthday?
November 17th, 1983.
November 7th, boo. That's why. That's it.
You're
right
a Scorpio.
There. November
yes.
7th. Scorpio
I was like,
all day. That is it. You are in my brain, girl. It's crazy.
I'm like, like I'm willing to do some things, I'm willing to be, flexible and cooperate. However, our core values have to be the same. If like I'm a person that's like, I leave work at work. Like before COVID, when I had a desk at work, I leave my laptop at work. They're like, you guys, can you please lock your docs down? Yeah, listen, y'all provide security for the building. I can't do everything, okay? Like, I leave work at work. I want to have like a quality of life. I want to get up and enjoy the person I'm with. You can't be so concerned with making a living that you don't have a life. And that's my personal value. Everybody's not like that. And so that's something that is important to me. So I think, obviously the first thing is reciprocation. Does the person even like you? They like the idea of you.
Right.
They like you. I like the idea of you. Do you check while you talking about people checking boxes, are you just checking his boxes? So think about, and if y'all are just checking each other's boxes, can you live with that? That sounds boring as shit. Like,
right.
I have somebody I used to date, and I know I could have stayed with them and we could have been married and stuff, but all I think, like, I am bored to tears thinking about what it would have been. And I still know the person, and I'm bored to tears with just their current life. So I'm like, good decision. Still single, but I dodged that one.
Right.
So, I just think it's important to have common core values, and then the reciprocation. And also, like, are you what he looking for? Why are you sitting up? Oh, girl, he got this. Oh, girl, he got that. Are you what he looking for? Like, have you asked him? Have y'all had like a conversation about what he would want you to bring to the table? Because a lot of people, I'm not gonna say like, I would say the majority of the men I've dated want you to have your own, but like really they don't really like, okay, so you good, you got this, you got good credit, you got a job, you got investments, blah, 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 blah. But after that, that's all they want to know is that you're not a bum. And after that, they don't want you, oh, I got on your fidelity today and I saw that that's not your business. Like that's not your role. They want to know that you can be a boss, but then like, are you okay with not being a boss? All those small nuances I think go into it. However, I preface this and I'm going to end it with, but I'm not married.
No, but I do.
I'm sorry. I just got a quick question.
I really do appreciate that all of us have different aspects of what it takes to be married, or what we think is the idea of of that line of yes, I'm ready. So go ahead, Philly, and then I'm going to switch it up a little.
Oh, my question is so not important. I'm going to tell you right now. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just reading in the comments, and now my stomach is grumbling. I wanted to know, what is jollof rice? Because they were having a very heated discussion about jollof rice.
That's definitely not my expertise. If it's not a Chipotle, I don't know.
Queen Neka, you go ahead, and then I'm going to switch it up. We're going to have some fun. Go ahead, Queen Neka. What is jollof rice?
Oh, that's how you say it? Say it again.
I'm assuming I'm saying it right. Jollof.
It's a popular Nigerian dish. I've never had it because I'm vegan, but it looks good.
What's in it? Let me know.
I know it's a type of rice,
though.
Because they were having a good discussion about it. You gotta bring your stove. You can't put it in the air fryer. I'm like, wait, what?
Fire. I'm like, what are y'all
jollof rices between the countries on the continent?
I'm like, somebody trying to send me some jollof rice. What's good?
In the nursery, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna switch it up until Queen Neka gets back. Okay. So I have a question. Do you think Black women support Black men in general? Do you think that we support our Black men? And China, someone touched on it earlier. Do you?
Absolutely. Whether he is blue collar, ain't got no money, Black women we hold our men down, and I hate that that has to be a question, because I don't know no Black woman who hasn't supported her man verbally, financially, spiritually. We are supportive when we're safe in your energy. Or even
Mm.
if it's toxic, we still be treating them like a king. That is just without a doubt, like we always do.
Do we look out for them? Because you just said something about being safe in their energy.
So that what's the question?
You just okay. So you said something about being safe in their
Yeah.
energy.
When
Expand
you
on
feel
that.
comfortable, when you feel safe, when somebody has reassured you that like you don't have to be so strong with me right now, that's a space reserved to be able to support him when he's not doing well, when he needs to talk about a bad day at work, when he's not feeling adequate enough because he don't make this X amount of money or whatever. Like we is there when you make me feel relaxed and safe to be feminine in my energy, and I have all the extra for you, for that man. Yes. Mm-hmm.
First home, do you think that we support our Black men? Do you think that they're being supported by Black women in general?
100%.
So, okay, great. No,
See, back in the day, our grandmas would be supporting them. He got a whole other
and
family
so we
across
look
the
out for
country. Now y'all
so
can't tell me we don't support these Black men.
To
Do
a
they
fault.
feel relevant
I
and
think there's
everything?
have been a question out there that they feel. So we've been talking about not being trust that we don't trust, and that we're not able to rest in our feminine energy because of the trust issue. Do you think that they can trust us? Go ahead, Philly, because you want to speak on that. Go ahead.
Yes, they can trust us because we always are supporting them. And when you look at the end of the day, we're the ones standing there holding the bag, no matter what, whether it's our sons, our brothers, it's a Black woman that got your back. We require, well, I require the same energy. If I'm going to put my neck out for you, same thing for me. I don't give that easily. I don't trust all Black men because there's some Black men that don't deserve my trust, that have gotten it and lost it. So that's a privilege that's on you. But the ones that I choose to invest and have their back in full force, unequivocally loyal to, because I know with me, my personality, I'm very loyal. I'm very, very loyal. But then when I'm don't like you, I don't like you. Like I really don't like you. So, if I've invested that time and when I walk away, I can know I walked away clean because I did everything. I put everything, there's no ifs. When I walk away, there's no ifs, what ifs behind. So trusting a male and giving them all of that, and you broke that, that's on you. That's like losing your wallet with $300 in it. That's on you. So the ones I do support, yes, I'm wholeheartedly right there with my Black men. No matter what your gender is, no matter what you decide you want to be with, at the end of the day, you ain't even got to be with me for me to support you. If you're on the right thing, you're doing the right thing. Yes, it's no problem.
Um, Queen Neka, go ahead and speak on that. And it's something that Philly just said that when I feel like that, do we have to? How do I say this? Yeah, go ahead and speak on that, and then I'm gonna expand on it. Do we support and back our Black men? Your
Yes.
experience.
Yes. I feel
Has there
like
ever been an issue? Do you think that they have to worry that they can't trust Black women?
I think that also goes with like people's experience. Like one person can do something to you and then you continue to believe that everyone's going to do that particular thing. I think like I don't want to say this it's not bad, but I think women I don't want to say we're conducive to heartbreaks, but I think we deal with heartbreaks a lot better than men, because like sometimes if you hear some men's stories, they're talking about somebody in elementary, primary school, like they're talking about somebody way back, like it's not even present, like it's creepy, like it's kind of like scary a little bit, you know what I mean? So I think that when I guess they don't quote on. And then also too, if you don't feel supported by the person you're with, what are you also doing?
There you go. There you go.
Because
It comes down to that.
yeah, because I feel like it kind of goes half and half. Like I get like obviously they're all women aren't good, all men aren't bad, right?
Right.
But um that's kind of a thing because if you feel like you're giving your all or you're giving that person your best, why would they treat you? Why wouldn't they support you, or why wouldn't they have your back, or why would you feel not want or not maybe not wanted but not supported? But I also think too sometimes like this is a little bit off topic, but I feel like some things that some black men want don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make sense to like, like the top, like, I don't, what was I watching? I don't even know what I was watching. Ugh, I can't remember. It was some reality TV show. That's all I know. But I think the guy, oh, Mavs. There we go.
Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead.
um,
Keep going.
yeah, he said something, or I think in the clip that's gonna come up or something, he's talking about threesomes or something, and then I guess his wife overheard it. I think her name is Katina, overheard it, and she was like, "We're not doing that over there." And he's just like, but he's saying that he wants a traditional wife. What is traditional about threesomes?
But
Like,
see, that's what I was saying about the marriage bed being defiled. That understanding, it applies to what rules you set for your marriage. That may not be tradition for you, but hey, what if God, well, not God forbid, but as an example, me and my husband say, yo, we want to get a little spicy, are we going to go to hell for getting spicy because we want another girl in the room? Like, it's whatever rules apply for whatever fits your lifestyle and situation. Does that make sense? If you got a traditional man and that's what you're looking for and that's what you wanted, then that's your prize. That's your high value man. Maybe my high value man wants a threesome and I'm down with it. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe he looks to frowns upon that. So I think defining that term of your own high value man defines the terms and standards of your marriage in your life. You have to make it on your terms, not what society say you should have, not what your family and friends say that you should be at and what level you should be at, because that's their growth level. We all don't even learn the same. So how will we be all should be all on the same level?
no, I
I hear what
definitely
you're saying.
understand you, Billy. But what if, like, what I'm talking about, like, for example, threesomes? If that person said their spouse said they didn't want threesomes, does that mean that she's not supportive? That's
Well,
what I.
that's a
That's what I mean.
conversation that should have been had before you put that ring on. See, he wouldn't be my husband if we didn't have that conversation already. Hey, boo, you like threesomes? No, I don't like threesomes. Good. But see, our appetites can change. So therefore, later on down the road, he might say, "Hey, remember that time, in 1985 when you asked me if I like threesomes? I've been doing some research. I kind of like, to try it out." I might be like, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to ever close the door because there's always room to grow. Whatever you start out, and I'm trying to tell you, whatever you start out as married, your marriage redefines itself every year. It honestly do. Your marriage takes
Great
on
point.
different points every year. It's never the
Amazing,
same marriage that you signed up for the year before.
amazing point. I think that's a phenomenal point.
That's interesting. That is a good. That's not a bad point at all. That absolutely, people are ever changing. Marriage is ever changing. You weren't the same person you were when you had kids. I definitely think that we do support our black men. I do think you do have a point that they don't sometimes don't know what they want. But I also think that you can't ask for a traditional relationship, but then you want a woman to go to a strip club with you, or you want her to make sure she has food on the table. Yeah, that's very contradictory.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that you want her to make sure that the food, your dinner is on the table at 6 o'clock when you get home, but you also want her to go to the strip club with you, but you also are interested in having a threesome. That's
Mm-hmm.
very contradictory, and you are not expressing exactly you don't know who you want. And
Mhm.
sometimes, as Queen Neka said, men don't know who they want or what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're speaking to us and looking for that support, who are we supporting? But I'm going to support my black men in general.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I definitely think we as women, especially as black women, We really want our men to be successful and to be that bright shine. We want them to be that king. So
I,
that's
I could fix that situation too. That little kerfuffle you came up with about the threesome. She just gotta be a chef. Have a threesome with a joint that's a chef. So therefore, she cooked before you busted down in the bedroom. Problem solved. Bam. See, damn. I'm just saying, it's an idea.
oh, that's. I
You're
mean,
so
hey,
fun.
she's doing it all.
She's doing it.
Then they're back to us doing it all. Ida, do you think that we support? Do you believe that we support black men? Do we that us as black women support our black men?
I I can only speak for myself because I've
Yes.
seen, you know, different things, and I've seen, things that I don't necessarily agree with, but I can only like do what I'm gonna do. But I do personally pour into the black males in my family. My if anybody saw the panel I was on yesterday with Kamisha Reviews, I was like picking my nephew up from Saturday school because he goes to like Saturday enrichment, but I just think they'd be up there playing. But either way, I'm like, you want to go to Saturday school? I'll make sure you get
Right.
home. So like,
I
I
was up there
definitely
getting
do
this
that.
man a do rag. She was making sure that he was taken care of,
Oh
and
my God. This boy got a $27 do rag. I say, well, is it gonna make the waves? Have y'all finally figured out how to get the waves from the do rag? Is that what it took for $27? No, he's 16, so he don't know no better, baby. It was like it was just like
Oh,
a little velour square with a metal clasp. I said, good luck. But so I would like to take this out of obviously out of a romantic perspective, but like I was at HEB, which anybody from Texas or down well Texas knows what HEB is. It's a
Big grocery
nicer
store.
grocery store. It's my favorite. So I go to this one particular one, and I go there because they treat me like the future rich woman I am. So it's decent or whatever. There's nothing like to brag about, but the customer service is superb. If Chick-fil-A had a grocery store, it'd be this HEB. So I'm at the stuff checkout, and a black guy comes up to me, and it's important I say he's black. It's not a lot of black people in this HEB. And he's tall, dark, beard. He's like, a little like football build. And he was like, hey, can I ask you a question? I was like, what's up? He was like, I forgot my wallet at home, but if I cash app you, do you mind paying for my groceries? I was like, I don't mind, but I need to cash app first. He cash at me. And since he didn't have his ID, he had some wine. I was like, just put the wine in my basket. I'm about to run in and give it to you. So like we did all of this, and he was like, when we got outside, he was waiting on his Uber with his groceries, and he was like, man, you don't like basically like he was like, when I saw you, it was like I saw somebody black, and like you were like a savior to me because he knew. As I'm just gonna say, like I have nephews my nephew is 16, so over 6 feet tall, full facial hair,
Wow.
flat top. To me, he's a baby. To the world, he's a black man. And I'm not going to tell you what he is to some of the world. You know what he is to some of the world. But this guy, he's just like in here. Listen, I'm notorious for not having a wallet. I'm like, if you ain't got Apple Pay, baby, we might don't make it. But he had all his groceries up there. And I was like, were you like hardcore rapper? He gave me his little Instagram because, download my song. He was young. I think you
oh.
should Pinot Grigio though. Man, my friend coming over tonight. I was like, I just love us. I love us. And I was like, you know what? He was like, I just can't say thank you enough. I was like, you gave me the money. I just like flipped it on a different card for you. Like, I don't mind doing that. But like, people are not that nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, people just aren't that kind. I'm like, he cash at me. Even if he hadn't cash at me, I would have probably, but it was like $30 worth of groceries plus his little Pinot Grigio. I'm like, and you know what? If he would have been any other color, I'd have been like, sir, I don't have any change. Okay. But I'm like I go out of my way. I go out of my way for black people, period. The black men just have so many hurdles to overcome before they can even get in the door. So as like a social, like at work, I'm palatable for people. Like, oh, hey, I know what you're doing. Shit, it's all good. And they're like, Like, but I'm palatable for people. So like if I have a black coworker, a black male coworker, I have one like 2 years ago, he was looking for a different job. And I was like, well, I know people in that department, I can introduce you. And now he's like a senior manager in another department. And he always calls and like always checks on me because he's like, Ida, you didn't have to do that, but you did. And I'm like, I just know that before you even open your eyes in the morning, you already have 5 things that are going against you. And then, God forbid you wake up in a bad mood, you black, God forbid you're dark skinned, maybe you got a goatee. It's just so many nuances that the world sees as an X against black men that any chance I can be like, like, I'm like, hey, walking in the bar, I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? One guy was like, can I buy you a drink? First of all, the answer is always yes. He was like, I just wanted to buy you a drink because you're the first person that spoke to us. We've been sitting out here all day. I was like, why not? Like, I just see black people and I just get so happy. Like, I don't know, I just love black people. I love black men. If they sexy, it's even better. But it doesn't cost anything to be nice. It doesn't.
Right.
And that's where it all starts. Like, you can't be like, a lot of people like you see a man and you want to classify, like, not you, but people in general, like, you classify people when you see them, period. Especially if you like on some dating shit. You like, girl, look what that nigga got on. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I told a guy the other day, we were just having a drink and I was like, we're just people watching. And I was just seeing him right there. I was like, you see how wrinkled his collar is? I don't like it. But we were just talking shit. But like, I'm not going to be like, he can never speak to me because his collar is wrinkled. I just think that like, we just have to be more, we don't have to, but I would like it if people were just more kind to people. Like, every guy who speaks to you ain't trying to get your number. Everybody who buys you, like, guys will buy me drinks, talk to me for an hour and be like, you have a good night. And I'm like, they how you feeling? Be like, no, like, I was nice and they were nice. And they just like, I've been here. People just aren't nice. And I'm like, well, okay. Like, I don't have anything to lose by being kind. And I think that that's really important. And so we don't have men that are as like so guarded. Like, so a man shouldn't feel like you want something just because you're being nice. If more people were just kind, they wouldn't feel that way.
Mm-hmm. You're on mute, Miss Chris.
What makes men think that black people don't support? Oh, I don't know. Where the men at? I don't know.
The
reason I asked that question, Coco Brown said, what makes men think that black women don't support is the real question. And I was told in one of my questions is, a black man said to me that black women don't truly understand what we go through. And I said, that doesn't make you are delusional, because we definitely understand what you go through. So, and then that really brought me to this breakdown. So another show I'm going to be doing later on is the breakdown in communication. And then we started talking about, how, you want us to be feminine, and that's how I got to this show here. But for him to really truly think that we don't understand or really want to understand what they're going through is why I asked that question. I just wanted to ask the surface question.
Yeah.
Do we support them? And
I think
that question first, and then go ahead, Terry.
So this question on the screen is very good, but for me to answer that, I think, once again, not all. I think a lot of black men see us as their moms at some points, and they cannot take constructive criticism. It's coming off as an attack, more as if a way to show you how to love me. I'm just telling you how to love me. I'm not attacking you. It's not a punishment. So I think that whereas a lot of men have somewhat of a mommy issue, an Oedipus complex at some point that really triggers this whole thing of not feeling supportive. It's not the relationships you're getting in, it's you. That's a personal thing, again, because if you're not feeling supportive, you have to say, okay, nobody's a mind reader. Okay, I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what you need support in. I can guess and put my intelligence and tools and wits in that area. But if I'm wrong, tell me, hey, I need your support here. Let me make that adjustment. But if you're not even willing to be that open to even say, I need help because of this be a man macho thing, then how am I supposed to fix it? It takes, again, communication. But I wanted to also thank you so much for having me. It's been a very long day. It's a
Right.
Sunday. I got 3 babies to get things done. It's late here. But I so appreciate for the invite. This has been very informational. I've learned so much in meeting everybody, Miss Ida, Queen, and China too. But as you know, I know you, girl. And Crystal, is so great meeting. I didn't even know you guys' channel. I am sub now, and I am so happy. The chat is amazing. I'm gonna give you some jollof rice. Yes, I'm happy about that. So I done came over here and left with a dish. Yes, yes.
Okay, Philly cheesesteak. Sorry, Philly cheesesteak. That's so
People
funny.
do that.
Shout out. Are you on a channel? Shout out your black business, and you will definitely be on our next show. So go ahead and
Thank you.
share your
I
channel.
have Chica's Productions. I'm a hairstylist. I travel depending. You better not have the omnicrons, but you know that's depending on changing. I'm also an entrepreneur. Black businesses, starting a lot of them for my daughters, Mira Mila, which is a jewelry company. For my 2 daughters, Melania and Miracle, they're starting their own jewelry line, so they're excited about that. So I am all over Instagram, Felicia 2016. I'm an up and coming comedian as well. So you want to get a lot of things to make you smile. If you down, go on my timeline. There's something over there that's gonna make you fall out laughing. I thank you guys for being here. I thank you for having me. It was so nice meeting everybody.
Before you go, sis, I already followed you. Yay!
Thank you, boo.
I was gonna say,
Thank you.
can you repeat your social media? I'm gonna make sure I follow you.
Yes,
Too.
it's Philly Chica spelled the way it is, 2016.
2016.
Yes, yes, and it's some crazy mess over there. I'm not I'm not like really offensively ratchet, trust me, but you won't laugh. Don't worry about it.
Girl, she's not offensively ratchet. Just
Offensive. It's a little ratchet, just a little ratchetness in
That's
there.
fine. My timeline look too clean, a little too
right.
bougie.
Oh, girl,
Mine
don't
is
look
too.
at
Mine is too. So, but I am so glad that because she led us to that was the last question. But thank y'all so much. I want to go to make sure that I kept every question. Actually, I did have one last question.
I got you. I can say I got a little time.
Because I think it was, I don't remember who said it earlier, but because it goes back to the gift. But do men realize that we are the prize? Do men realize that we are the prize? And I've said this, I've like peppered this throughout my other episodes, but
I don't think so. I guess I'm gonna jump in
wait,
here.
so China just pulled a liver, but
Come on, China.
China don't even know who that is, but she started drinking. She's like,
Yeah.
so y'all see what I did. I asked about our black men, and then I'm gonna close with us. Do our black men, or just men in general,
Mhm.
all over the globe, do men realize that we are the prize? That women are the prize? First home.
I don't believe that I am seeing a lot of that's probably not the case.
That was so cute. She said probably not.
China, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say they don't realize it until it's too late. Until we've already been fed up. We've gave you multiple times to communicate correctly. We've relaxed, relate, release. We don't went to therapy. We don't went to church. I feel like a lot of times men will take us for granted. So to me, I'm not gonna say they don't. Now, some men, I have not came across some men who didn't switch it up, and I was like, oh, okay, what's going on? So I'm gonna say they do, but they always wait until I'm ready to walk away from it, or when it's
Right.
convenient for them. I don't think they do right off the rip. A lot of these young men who be acting like they will act in their feminine energy to me. Like acting as if like, yeah, you are worthy for sure, but you are not the prize. My eggs do not swim to you. So the fact that you think that is just beyond me.
So
Go ahead, Philly Chica, and then
I
Ida,
actually,
you're next. Keep it to 1 minute. Go
I
ahead.
actually do think that men actually do know we are the prize. That's why they go out and try to impress us so much. Because otherwise, they'll be trying to impress each other. Why else do they buy the cars? Why else do they brag on bank accounts and monies? Because they think that these are the things that attract us. They're trying to attract, us. Otherwise, they'll be trying to attract each other. I mean, in some cases, that's the case, but we're not talking about that. But I'm saying to attract us, that's what it is. The problem is once they get that prize, they get lazy. They feel like they got it. And they get complacent and content. And therefore you lose that prize. So it's just like having a kid. You want that baby so bad. Oh my goodness, you want it, you want it, you want it. But then why do some mothers abuse their children? Because you go through all that pain, 9 months stretching your body out and all of that, you Google Gaga, and then one day what makes you change up and does it? Because you're not realizing how much of a gift that is, a constant gift every day. So don't get complacent. When you get complacent is when you lose your prize.
Mhm. Okay, I actually totally agree with Philly Chica. I think that they get complacent, and I think they realize in the beginning that we have the power and that we are the prize, but then they take us for granted. And it's not everybody. I'm not generalizing all men, but I think that they do. Ida, you're next, and then Queen Necka, you're going to take us out. You always have a word for us, so Queen Necka is going to end it, and then we're going to shout out our Black business. So go ahead, Ida.
Okay, so I think that I would like to again trademark in French, first home tuber. Um, if if a man, I'm just gonna be 100. If a man deems you the prize, you the prize. You can go to the next person now.
Great, go ahead, Queen. Yeah, go ahead, Queen Necka, take us out. Last word. Do you think that men realize that we're the prize? You're the one getting married. You're the one like we're aspiring. Go ahead.
I think that a lot of men don't, from what I've seen with like people that I've talked to, my friends that are single or people that have went through long like relationships and things of that nature. I feel like there's like a good part of men that actually don't even know what they want. Like they're not like really solid because prior to um, my husband to be, I was like I got it like I felt like I was too young, but the last two boyfriends that I had, they did propose, but I felt like I was too young to get married. So obviously I declined. And then when it happened again, I was like, I'm cursed. Like now I'm just never going to be able to just date like normal people. And then obviously now my third boyfriend, like, so I guess, I don't know, but I think I've always dated people who are intentional about what they want. And it's very clear, like they know, like, I want to be married, I want to have children and things of that nature. So it's very clear. But I think that a lot of guys, they're just not clear. Like they don't really necessarily know what they want or desire. And it sucks because then there's girls that want to get married and then they're stuck with this guy that doesn't want to get married or even doesn't even know like if he wants to get married or he just like there's this new thing and it's just like people are like I can have a kid but I can't get married and it's like I think having a kid is worse. Like like I don't know how that's like I don't know how having a child seems like less of a responsibility than getting married. Like it's very odd, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of men just don't know what they want in every aspect. And then it sucks because then there's women that are already like 10 toes down, ready, and have what they envision for themselves. And then they're stuck with this guy that's just like, I don't know what I want. I'm like, I
Right.
guess maybe we can get married, in 10 years or, things of that nature. They don't even have a plan. A lot of men don't have plans.
Hmm.
And I think that's really what the problem is.
And a man with a plan gets my attention. I totally agree with you. So I think that they not knowing what they want, and then by the time they know what they want, I have been just in China's position to be like, now I'm not interested. Now I know my self worth, and now I don't want you.
Too
So
late.
okay, y'all, the next show is going to be probably partner versus provider. Money attitudes in relationships is coming in February, and the communication breakdown. You know what? I'm going to go first home tuber first, and then China, And then yeah, there you go. First home tuber, because I know first home you got some videos. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm First Home Tuber on all social media platforms. My YouTube channel here on the platform is all about helping people purchase their first ever property. I always say home buying is not hard. You can do it, and my channel is there to help. Currently, I have everything you need to purchase your first home available now. I launched On the Spot on January 1st. Everything is there: how to hire a realtor, vet a realtor, how to get down payment assistance in all 50 states, including Puerto Rico, and more. So check me out.
China, what's your last word?
On Instagram, I am at Hello C Diddy. And on Twitter, I am Chai Simmons. I am an actress director. I'm all about making compelling stories, especially telling diverse Black stories and helping and working with amazing people to make media more diverse. So follow me. I'm working on some great things and just hoping to keep the momentum to get to where I want to be and eventually open my own production company. But IG, Chai Simmons. At Hello C Diddy. Twitter, Chai Simmons.
Philly, oh, you already did. Queen Neka, go ahead.
I'm gonna put my Instagram information in the chat because it's so long.
Okay, yes, it is. Go ahead, put it in the chat for us. You know what? And also, China, I might need an accountability coach or somebody because you see all of these projects right here.
Let's do it. And I got some more time, so I'm hiatus. We gotta talk.
Yeah, we gotta talk. I'm a producer, writer, and 3 projects down. So y'all pray for me in these screenwriting streets. But we got 3 projects under, and we're trying to debut the project that China and I worked on February 14th. It's going to be in February. That's our goal.
All right. Congratulations.
So I'm saying February 14th, and then I just realized that was Super Bowl weekend. So I was like, so we're it's probably going to be in that time.
It's going to be some side joints that's left that's going to watch it because they can't go out on Valentine's Day.
There you go. So Ida, you got the last word.
I just want to say it's always so good and so enriching to hang out with you guys, because I think that at this age we get into our silos, especially as single women. We do hang out and we fraternize with married people and people who have kids, and then we go home and we're like, "Ooh, child," we check out this bra, baby. Ooh, better than me. And we have the ability to sit on high, look low, but at the end of the day, there's still some component of longing for understanding or companionship, and just hanging out with you guys makes me feel less alone, and it makes me feel like I am not crazy, which I am a little crazy, but not in this sense. And everybody has a different perspective, and I love that we can respectfully state, how we feel and what we're going through, and there's a common thread. There's a golden thread, even for the people who married, even people who engaged. There's a golden thread there that everybody can relate to. So I just want to say thanks for continuing to invite me, Crystal. I have absolutely no sense, and you still invite me. So I fuck with you.
Thank y'all so much. Good night.
I like
good night, Ida. I gotta DM you because I might be in Atlanta when you come. So
yeah, and I'll be here.
Please, because all these little piece of memes that I've been I'm being ATL, I don't know if I'm a girl. Bye. Yes, let me know. Let me know.